2211. Now, BioNTech is seeking approval to have its vaccine made available to people aged between 12 and 15. Now, the vaccine was jointly developed with Pfizer. It's already approved for those aged 16 and older in the US and Europe. Some experts say vaccinating children could help achieve population immunity. Well, let's chat about this now with Benjamin Kagina from UCT's Vaccines for Africa initiative. Benjamin, good morning, and thanks so much for your time this morning. Is this a good idea? Is it necessary specifically to vaccinate this group? And I say this bearing in mind what we just heard before the break from Western Cape Premier Alan Winde, his concerns about the new variant hitting Africa now and affecting younger people.
Good morning, Uveka, and thanks for having me. Yes, it is a very good idea to extend or expand vaccination to younger population, because the whole principle of preventing transmission of disease spread is by making people, as many as you can, immune to being infected. And by extending our vaccination services to younger population, it means that we're able to get more people immunized, and in that way we are able to increase the chance of attaining the herd or community immunity.
And, I suppose it also is very important that we start to target this group. I mean, if we look at what happened with that rage event last year, where, yes, we did see some youngsters who did get sick. They didn't get very sick. We haven't heard of any deaths coming out of that in terms of that age group, but they were carriers of COVID-19 and leading to older people that they came into contact with actually getting sick. So I suppose it would make sense that we can't ignore this group any longer.
Absolutely, you make a very, very valid point, Uveka. As new variants of concern continue to emerge, we're seeing some of these variants are not sparing the younger people. And as the vaccination gets rolled out to the older population, we might find ourselves in a situation where we've got adults who are immune because of vaccination, but then we've got our younger population who are vulnerable to getting infected. And as the virus infects more people, so does the chance of this virus, creating other variant, which may eventually actually be posing a risk even to immunized adults. So it is absolutely critical that tests are done to show that these vaccines are safe and effective in younger population, and then expand the services to this population.
So what are the precautions, though, Benjamin, that we might have to take with this particular group? Let's bear in mind if we're talking under 18s or under 16s. I mean, there's a lot going on in their bodies already at this time. So are there any specific precautions we need to be taking when we research this with them and aim to vaccinate them for COVID-19?
Yes, certainly. One key issue is that this is the population that routinely get vaccinated with other vaccines, and as opposed to adults who do not get routinely vaccinated with other vaccines, this population does get vaccinated. So we don't know whether there could be potential interaction between COVID-19 vaccines and other vaccines this younger population have recently received. But also, in addition, because this population does not necessarily show as clear symptoms as we see in adults, knowing what endpoint we are going to use when testing vaccines may not be as clear-cut. But for the safety aspect, which is the first crucial aspect for us to know, is to make sure that these vaccines do not pose any safety risk to the kids and to younger population. And then after that is to look at how do they respond immunologically to these vaccines. And we can be able to now do those comparisons with data that we already have in adults to make sure that we can at least, we're not starting afresh like we did with adults. We have some data from adults which can be used to compare how a younger population is faring. And another important aspect is that when adults are participating in trials, they give consent, but for younger people, they might need adults or legal guardians to actually be involved in giving permission for their involvement in the studies. And importantly, lastly, I think the immune system of younger people has been shown to be different to older people in the sense that it's adapted to their stage of development. And nobody knows what this adaptation may present when they are vaccinated.
All right, we'll have to wait and see. Thanks very much, Benjamin Kagina, there. To vaccinate or not vaccinate that particular age group under 16s is what we're looking at.